Hello and welcome back to sunny Ivrea in Italy. Extreme slalom cross, full of excitement, dynamic action in creek boats. These are tougher, smaller boats, and it's exactly the same water channel that we've been watching for the last couple of days for the canoes, individual, double, and the kayaks. So it's quite a catching course. Big currents, fresh water, a little bit chilly because it comes straight down from the Mont Blanc. Look at the crowd. It's possibly the biggest crowd of the weekend. Not too many athletes here to watch because most of them are already on the road. They have to go to Sao. But here we are, the quarterfinal list of the men who are going to start. The top two go through to the next round. It's starting off a big ramp. It's where the bridge is, when gate number 9 and 10 was before. And look at the names here. Some huge name. Mike Dawson's won before. Hannes Egan has won before. We have a couple of desistements, a couple of athletes not able to make it, unfortunately. Pepe often comes to the final. He's going to be there today. And so just two athletes are going to be starting off in the first heat. Sweden's Max Carlsen. And you can guess it's Christian Di Gianni, Italian present. As soon as there's an Italian present, I think we're going to have some big action. So we'll discover the course at the same time as you. There's a lot of people watching. It's a great facility here because they have the high wall, riverbank right. It's about a 5-meter wall where all the spectators are either leaning over the bank, as you can see, or there's a huge screen just in front of my commentary box where lots of people are sitting down in the grass, having ice cream or what have you, and watching the action. So this is where you have to go up and around. The red are up. It's the same as in the classic slalom. However, you do touch them if you want to. And then you have to go a door. So here we go. It's just a case of you go the right side around it. Lots of disqualifications in this sport. You need to do a Eskimo turn between the lines. Now you have to go up round the red. You have a choice, which is good. He's got a bit low there. That was old gate 19, which has been catching the athletes out quite a lot. Then you go again. You have the arrows, which are fixed this time. It shows you which round to go through the tops. There's up to upstreams. Negotiate your way over the last drop. Got steep water here. It's 10 cubic meters a second that goes through this course, which is quite a lot. So both athletes will actually make it through to the semi-finals, but it's good to see the form athlete is definitely Christian. So let's see who's going in for the second. It's always delicate to try and put up the numbers here because quite a few of the athletes do not have a choice. Their teams decide to go to the next venue, so they have to go off. The timing also late on a Sunday afternoon. It's at the end of really stressful competition. So a couple of the athletes who either didn't make the final when they expected to have gone off, or a couple of athletes who did make the final or they didn't expect to have also gone off because they're too mentally tired. But here you go, quite a big gap. Look at that, big drop rather. Need to make sure that you have your power forward. And this is something that we've been seeing all season. Quite a bit of excitement coming through. And of course we're going to see it in Po at the World Championships, which are starting in about 3 weeks' time. It's going to be great fun. Here we go, it's better. This is a full heat. Only the first two will progress. USA, Kazakhstan, Ireland and Brazil are represented here. 30 degrees outside, 40 degrees in our commentary box. All the public are really having a great weekend, and Ivrea, if you don't know it, is well worth a visit. It's a historical town on the side of a river, and the channel's been updated dramatically in the last couple of years. So it's really a top-notch slalom venue. The great advantage, I suppose, for the athletes is the water's on all the time because it's a bit sheltered from the huge mountains. Good winter training conditions. In fact, the Italian Federation have just moved here for the... See, this is the view if you're at the top. Pretty daunting, huh? Alistair McCreary from Ireland. Look at the bibs. The colour of the bibs is what we go by. So he's wearing a blue bib. Next we go is Martin Snavosky in the green bib. So they're all having a... Some of the top athletes have their own boats, others rely on what's here. Tren Long had a good week this week. It's great to see him battling against the younger generation. He's very strong. There's some good results in this extreme slalom cross. Marcelo Mapelli, Brazil, really good attitude. So it's the first two who are going to progress to the semi-finals, it'll be. Tension. There's no starting blocks. You just hear the starters say go. There you go. The idea is put your hand there and push off. So they all need to go around the same side of there. You can push it out of the way as long as you go the same side. Look, what you have to do is in a specific zone, you have to do your Eskimo turn before the white boys. In red, it is Tren Long, who's chosen a line by himself. If you decide to go the line as the others, you risk being pushed out of it. And as only the first two go through, it's really probably not really worth... you see, they're seeing there, they're fighting it off. And with the current, it's really instinct places at the time here because it's quite difficult to fight through. We do get disqualifications if you don't manage to go through. Tren's okay. Not quite sure about the others. So Tren goes through for the USA. And Stanovsky for Kazakhstan. They fight for another day. They'll go through to the semi-finals. And they'll be against the two athletes we've already seen, as Christian Didini and Max Carlsen. So that's already the semi-final lineup for that half. And then we're going to go for the bottom half of the lift. Tren Long, since you remember, did really well in Prague this year. Quite a solid figure. It's all about the start. If you're ahead in the start, it's very difficult. You can choose your line. And then it's a bit of a lottery. It's in case you decide to go one way or the other. And if you're lucky to go by yourself on the upstreams, you tend to have a free run. Otherwise, you can have some quite muscly times where you get knocked out of the way. So they've really been working on the structure for the last couple of years, and the inflatable down buoys are excellent now because it's you actually see which way they need to go. It's all known for your camaraderie after the serious weekend's work from the weekend. In the actual official competitions, here's a bit of fun, but so many people taking images. And you can see exactly what I was talking about with the 4 or 5 metre wall. It's only officials and cameramen who are actually allowed at one side. In the middle, it's even less. There's only a very select amount of people you're allowed through, obviously for health and safety reasons. And you can see the ladies and gentlemen, in fact, who have the yellow caps on and the bright red safety uniforms. Imagine it's 30 degrees. Very hot. Fredrik Wallen, who's been ever present this season. Good to see him. 2 athletes from Sweden so far. And then it looks like it's going to be Hannes Egner. He was my guest yesterday, one of the world's top kayak specialists. Missed out on the first selection to go to the Worlds. They will be going to the Worlds clearly in the slalom cross. But Olympic medalist, clearly as we all know, and a very strong competitor. So these are the two. Well, they both go through clearly. But let's just see how they both pride to sit. If you win, you pick your lane. When I was speaking to Hannes yesterday, he hadn't actually seen the drop, and he was saying he was a bit nervous about it. So the youngsters are being inspired for the next generation. That's what it's all about. Italians have actually had a mixed weekend here. Haven't had any winners, but we've had a lot of fun. Crowds kept happy, and crucially the weather stayed dry. Some big clouds circulating for the last couple of days. So it's waiting for the starters to organise themselves. So Hannes Egner in green and Fredrik Wallen in blue. Let's see if they're going to keep up a little bit of a fight. There they go. Turnover. They bring their own boat at this level. Hannes has his own boat. A few scars on the bottom. Shows he's been around. There you go. Both nice and clearly up the upstream. It's quite difficult to judge the water because it's clearly there's going from grey to brown colour. You can't see the bottom. Sometimes it's deceptive. It shows it's a bit. You think it's a bit deeper than it actually is. And with his very smart mounted camera on the top, he's taking a little risk perhaps. But anyway, no doubt about the winner of this heat. It's Hannes Ivrea from Germany who comes through, conserves lots of energy, and he's going to be in the great situation to go through for the semi-final. So some of the athletes are great fans of this discipline, were not able to start because many of their lifts are going on to say already. So Hannes Ivrea goes through. You have to see about Frederick. Has he been disqualified or is he allowed to go through? See, he's qualified. There you go. Both go through to the next round. Jean-Michel Pruneau is in charge of making sure this event works correctly. There they go. It's really crucial they have the right angle going forward. And it's good to see, I suppose, this pure form of the sport is coming back on the international scene in the ICF Slalom Weekend events. So if you're just tuning in, this is Extreme Slalom Cross coming to you from Ivrea. And you see they need to get up 2 upstreams, 2 downstreams, Eskimo turn, and it's an elimination system. So you have draws out of a hat who goes through to the next round. And it's all a lot of fun. Certainly it's still developing. For the women, again, due to the fact that some athletes had to travel, it's great to practice, I suppose. They're going to have 2 athletes in the first heat, 2 athletes in the second heat. They're all going to go straight to the final. So you see on the top the security who are having a bit of a rest at the moment, taking in shifts. Absolutely exhausting. In 30 degrees they have to wear these huge thick neoprene suits. That's why they keep jumping in the water. I was getting a bit ahead of myself. In fact, this is the last heat of the men. Sorry, bit of a pause there. David Gizetti from Italy and Pepe or Pedro da Silva, great character from Brazil, always tries to enter these events. Great shaman. So of course we've had we know the top half of the same finalists, and then we know the 2 of the bottom half. And by definition, these 2 are going to go through as well, so you actually know all the results. But I'm sure we're going to try and put on a show. So you can hear the music blaring out in the background. It's more of a rock and roll atmosphere. Pressure's gone away for the weekend. So Pepe in green, leading it off, by far the most experienced. And Giuseppe from Italy. Oop, has he gone over quickly? Yeah. Are they going the same way? I keep it interesting, I suppose. That's why you have to muscle it round. Is he going to have to get? Don't get yourself disqualified. Yes, well done, Italy. Shows you exactly how to do that. I'll keep him in good state for the future. I suppose these boys are on the water all the time, every day, so that's why they know the currents. And the currents here, fast flowing water, natural water. Fast playing, so it's going to be interesting to see how you read your lines. But in blue, the Italian crowds absolutely love it, and why not when Italian comes through? Gizetti coming through, and Pepe da Silva coming through in second place. They'll go and meet each other with Hannes Ivrea and Frederick Wallen in the semi-final. We have the men's quarter-final And for the women, as I was explaining a couple minutes ago, it's directly through to the semi-finals. We have 4 entries in this competition. And we're all going to see them a couple of times. So it's exactly what goes without saying really. It's exactly the same conditions, same boats, same course for the women and the men. It's interesting to see their different styles. It takes some effort to do when you're in a fast current. You can't see a thing. Saw some big logs coming down, which is quite funny. There's no filter at the top to stop big logs coming down. But luckily no one actually came down the competition. Look at the speed those athletes actually go through and turn it. Well, they certainly both want to win for the crowd. This level, it's all about showing off your best. Pepe had to go back and take the gate again. You don't really want to be disqualified when you're going through automatically. So let's see, quarter-finalists, we do know them. Christian de Jonge, Max Carlsen qualified from the first, then it's Tren Long, Martin Snanovsky qualified as well. Hannes Egner, Frederick Wallen, David Gazzetti and Pepe da Silva all go through for the next day, next competition. Extreme Canoe Slalom Women's Semi-Final. So there's a 6-metre drop on this course from the bottom to the top, 230 metres long. And it's rather wide, as I say. We've had some really interesting courses this year so far. We started off with Prague. And from Prague, who I believe won there, was Emilia Hilgetova. I have to see how many of these athletes are actually going down, because I've been informed that a couple are not able to fulfill their commitment, so we just have to see who's in the first. I believe there are going to be 2 in each heat. I have to see them. There's David Setti's chatting with his team. So the youth at Moe, some future champions here probably. The best view in the house. They're there to do some running of the results and stuff. And you can see in the background the various flows of the river. The hydroelectric plant that was working during the weekend actually turned off. Sorry, working during the week, actually turned off to the weekend. There's Emilia. So she's been moved up to the first heat. No, it's Emilia Hilgetova. Speaker, you need to correct yourself. And it's Sage only also going there. So Sage against Emilia, both tough nuts. Emilia, obviously the niece of Stepanka, wasn't racing this weekend. Just competed in all 6 Olympic Games. Here they go. This is quite a daunting view. Need to keep the boat in the right position. There they go. They will go through to meet in a final. It's great that they have some chance to actually go on this course. They did a time trial yesterday. Well, here we go, and in the red it is the vastly experienced Emilia Hilgetova, who's been pretty much, she came away with, in Augsburg, she got banged around a little bit. She was a bit delicate at the end of it, didn't complain, just had covered in bruises and stuff. But here she goes. That's right, you have to go through. Sage Donnelly also very experienced on this wild water. And she's really taking a good line there. It looks like the right line is the quickest one here. Going in through. Well, they're both choosing the same angle. I suppose it's... oh, that's Emilia saying, you push me out the way, I'll show you who's the toughest one. Sets them up for the final. Round through one more gate. Bit of a cross there. And through. Both go through, but both good time. Interesting to compare the times. Obviously, do the time. It would be interesting to compare them anyway. So, Sage Donnelly and Emilia Hilgetova fight for... Well, they have the right to go into the Fine, I believe the winner has the right to find which lane you're in. Just making sure that both of them are okay, because it's obviously there's an inherent risk in anything you do. But the idea is they have fun, but certainly don't hurt each other. Just a bit of water in the air, probably. That'd be pleasant. But all the fans look like they're happy, discovering this possibly for the first time. Especially at this level, anyway. So great opportunity to have a mixture of water and athletes. Always a good combination for the cameras. More stable bits here, you see. A whole 360 degrees course. And take the water out your ears, blink a few times. And the water's very fresh, so it comes down from the Alps, so it's a few degrees. The athletes really said they love the sensation, the freshness on the skin. They really know they're in a proper river situation. Next up is going to be the second semi-final for the women. And again, we'll have to make sure that according to my, we'll see who turns up on the day. There you go, you see all the wires that were set up from the slalom. They've been doing such a good job, the organisers here this week. They actually had a World Cup here last year. It was the first World Cup. A lot of rain, so it's going to be a different game this time. And then next year they're hosting the World's Under-23 Juniors, which is going to be a big competition. So well done for the Italians, making sure that's a top venue. Well, we have the athletes lining up. Anna Satilla, she's going to move here. She likes it so much. Loves Italian, loves everything about Italy, and obviously a coach, Ettore, who was the chief coach of Brazil, has moved back home where he's coaching the Brazilians. And one of the characters on the tour, Tracy Hines, ex-military veteran. If you want to read her story, go onto the social media. She has a very interesting story. Loves the sport, lives for the action. Both go through. It'll be interesting to see how they manage the pressure. So it's good to have a bit of green in the background. Tracy in blue, really pleased. She goes in the C1, has done for many, many years. Very at home in this big water. Anna's got stuck on the top. Let's see how Tracy goes through. Yep, both safely through. The first thing you need to do a turn and oops. Come on, Tracy, up you come. There you go. So Anna has control. She's going to be studying in the. She already has a degree, but she's going to be studying, I believe, in Turin. She's going to be planning to live here at least until Tokyo 2020. So by then she's going to be extraordinary. I remember interviewing her the first time about 6 years ago, and her English was very basic. We all had the same smile, but now it's very good English, and she claims her Italian's already better, which is great. So Anna Satilla had a good weekend so far. Last year she was one of the top athletes, and she comes through relatively comfortably, to be fair. So Brazil, Anna Satilla fights for another day, and she goes into the finals. Let's see if Tracy Hines has managed to cross the line yet. Again, she goes in most of the World Cup. There she is. There she is. Most of the World Cups she can. Very smart boat there from Anna. There we go. Great start from Tracy Hines, and I need to work on that. We have the final with Sage Donnelly from the USA and Amelia Hilgertova. So very international field here. Two athletes from USA going to be in the final against South America, rather, with Brazil and Czech Republic. Whoops. There you go. So we've had the men go down. They had bit more interest here. So they are going to be going in a semi-final, the women, because only a couple of hours ago was the actual final of the K1. So a lot of athletes are talking, so they'd love to go in it, but unfortunately they couldn't. There's Daniele Mementi with his back to us, obviously a huge character here. Won the Olympic gold in London and really set the crowd alight when yesterday he had to, last year rather, this came second. So here we go, we have Emilia Hilgertova, Sage Donnelly is going to meet Anna Satilla, Tracy Hines in the final. That's going to be a little bit later on. And that's going to be a real competition because obviously you're up for the medals. So quarterfinals out the way for the men. And here we go, extreme canoe slalom, Ivrea in Italy, and it's semi-final time. We're going to have 2 semi-finals, and the first 2 will go through to the final. And it's a quite experienced Tren Long who's probably going to be leading it off. He's in the green. Here you go, Christian Diano from Italy, Tren Long, Martin Stanowski, and Max Carlsen. And heat number 2, Hannes Egner, Pedro da Silva, Frederick Vollen and Davide Giusetti. So let's see, we have Hannes Egner and Pepe da Silva, the most experienced. Tren Long had a good performance in Prague this year. There, the boat's a bit heavier than the normal slalom boats. Very robust things. There the helpers are ready to jump in and save an athlete, which I don't think it hasn't. We had one of the Czech C1 athletes really struggled earlier in the week, but apart from that there's been no need for these helpers. But as you can see, the water pressure is quite high, and so it's actually great that they're there to be prepared for anything that might be untoward. For the spectators, they're quite secure. No glass, no cans, so they can't accidentally slip over. Here's Max Carlsen preparing himself, just making sure that everything's on tight. Sometimes you see the bibs come off, which turns your boat into a submarine. Here we go, is Tren Long, most mature athlete in this field. Very powerful, as you can see from the build. Next is up is red. It's going to be Christian de Diongi, where he's having the biggest cheer of the day so far. Martin Stanovsky from Kazakhstan. It's a great reputation here. Italy, USA, Kazakhstan, Sweden. Only the top 2 will advance to the final. And they're off and away. Remember, it's the bibs that count, not the colour of the boat. So going backwards is Tren. Are you allowed to? Here we go. Eskimo turns quickly up in red. Also, it is Christian de Dionge, and Trent's clever, he's chosen his side, so he has a free run. Also in red coming through, it's Christian de Jonghe. So those 2 are leading from the field with 3 more posts to go. There's a downside, which is a downhill, which is a green, and now the uphill. You really need to go for it all the way, but coming into the qualification for the final is certainly going to be USA in green and Italy in red. It's going to keep the crowd happy. Punches his paddle and goes through to the final. Well, we did predict it. It's Tren Long goes through and qualifies in front of Mr. De Giuliani. So Italy, USA go through to the final. That was a great race. The shares, it's really important to start quickly and to pick your lane. Luckily, to go on the first upstream. Once you're there, you're pretty much safe. There you go, look at that. Straight in. Oops, one nearly sunk then, unfortunately. Well, that's not the great start. Right, so it's a learning curve. Martin Stanovsky should know better, really. There you go. Tren decides to go backwards. Interesting. There you go. A good tactic, I suppose. You can see where the ones behind him are. Pick his lane. Maybe that's a new way to go forward. Go backwards. So if you see the gate, this gate number, if it's crossed out, it means you have to go the other way. If you look at the little number 2 we saw there. There you go. Happy with the fun they're having. It's not work, obviously, it's just fun. I'll have the results in a second. But it's USA and Italy. Here we go. Perhaps not. As you can see, you see 4 is not crossed out, which means you have to go up, and 3 is crossed out, which means you have to go down. Some of the stars of the future, hopefully, with the national training facility moving here, and I think this weekend's given them great publicity for some of the Europeans to perhaps do some of their winter training here, as opposed to needing to go to the southern hemisphere. But although they do have great facilities in the southern hemisphere, Auckland, Dubai, Penrith in Australia. Next race is going to be the heat number. This is going to be with the big hitters, because Hannes Aigner and Pepe da Silva have really, really good results. And Davide Gazzetti looked good in his heat. Clearly going to have the local support. It's good that they've kept the Italians apart. Pepe. Made his name for himself in the Olympics. For many reasons, actually got to the front page of most papers. And Hannes Aigner. Very well qualified, keeps studying and studying and studying. And Fredrik Wallen from Sweden, so truly international field. Germany, Brazil, Sweden and Italy. Only 2 go through. We've just seen a couple of minutes ago that Italy and USA have already gone through. The form athletes, you need to say, are Aigner and da Silva. Fredrik Wallen's had a couple of appearances, and we don't know much about Davide Gazzetti. But local knowledge there, that could have something. Not sure how much they've practiced on here before. Here they go. Straight away in green, it is Pepe da Silva who's through. Blue is next, and that is Fredrik Wallen. So interesting situation there. With Hannes Aigner, he's still catching up, but he's a strong bloke. He's going to knock them out of the way. Oh, you needed to yellow in yellow. You could have golden opportunity there. 3 went one side, 1 went the other. So in blue at the moment, it is Fredrik Wallen who's taking advantage of the chaos going. Oh, God, that looks a bit nasty. I hope he didn't hit him in the face. Anyway, coming through, it is very much Fredrik Wallen in blue. And red is Hannes Aigner. Those 2 will go through. So we now know all the athletes are going to go through to the next round. Nasty hit, who's okay? Great start. Well, Hannes Aigner did the backward. Yeah, he was going backwards for the first 20 metres. The experience pulled him through. Don't panic. Took the same option as the other 2. Gave Wallen a bit of an advantage here. But they're all up and down very, very quickly. Just an instant flick. Well, as long as you go round it, you can use your. I'm not supposed to deliberately move it out of the way with your hands, but there you go. So next event up is going to be the K1 Women Final. And these are the results. Who's qualified for the final for the men? Trent Long, Christian de Jonge, Fredrik Wallen, Hannes Aigner. They go through to the final in a few minutes' time. So we know the 4 finalists for the men, and we also know the 4 finalists for the women. Amelia Hilgetova, Anna Satilla, Sage Donnelly, Tracy Hines. We've seen them all in action so far. Hilgetova and Satilla won their semi-finals. Tracy Hines a little bit further back, and Sage Donnelly also in the action. So grey, lots of sediments in the water. Here we go, the finals. So in red it's going to be Amelia. In green it's Anna. Sage is in blue with Tracy in yellow. All falling, lining up. Who's going to take the victory? Who's going to have the medals? Well, the pedigree in this year so far is certainly Amelia. Anna a tough nut though. Sage very good in wild water, and Tracy a bit of an outside option. Slightly more mature than the others, but really enjoys it as much as anyone. They're giving you marks where you need to do your Eskimo turn. So when they decided to change this course from a little bit different to what it is now, they modelled it, took it to the university in Prague, where they did some dynamic testing. It was a 75:1 scale, figured out what to do. The idea was to use local know-how. Well, Anna Satila, first up, bib number green. Number, of course, colour green. Next to go is Sage in blue. Having a great time. In the zone is Amelia, with a victory already to her name this year. Determined Tracy Hines from the USA. It'd be a dream story if she manages to come in with a medal. She's got a great start. Anna still had a nightmare start, so she can actually put it back when it matters. Czech, Brazil, USA twice. USA will have a medal. And they're off. Tracy's hoping the others mess up and be a bit behind them. In blue, it's Sage Donnelly, who had a good start. It's about to do their turns. Well, the first three are through, and it's blue is Sage and Amelia Hilgetova in red. Oops, and they managed to go round. That's clever, that's really clever. So Sage Donnelly has picked certainly the right line. Tracy Hines maybe gone a bit low, he's going to have to work her way up there. It's going to be really exhausting. But you never know who's going to win here. There's going to be big battling. Oh, she's taken the long ride. Sage really got knocked out of it. Two girls battling for the medals. Sage has been disqualified. Well, it looks like in a distinctive boat, it is going to be Anna Satila. Claims a World Cup victory. Well done, and by a country mile. So Anna Satila is the winner today. Ivrea shows her great delight. Amelia Hilgetova is going to come second. And Tracy Hines takes a medal. Well done, Tracy Hines. So lots of very physical tussling, I suppose, and then eventually, as smart as a bit I've seen, I think it comes through. Well, Tracy Hines left a little bit, but maybe that's not a bad approach, really. You to see what's going on in front of the pandemonium. Well, if you go the wrong side, unfortunately, it doesn't help. There we go, through and up you come. Well done. Sage Donnelly was I think she made a, well, the water's so pushy here, but she took a wrong line going into the last up, and it cost her this, I would say, pretty much certain victory. She managed to be outdone by the two more experienced athletes. There you go. Never seen Anna without smiling. No, Sage, wrong technique there. So look at that, because of the whole mess, handed the victory to Anna Satila, who took it with open arms. So that's the first, the women's, we know, Anna Satila won the gold medal. Well done. Amelia Hilgetova won the silver, and Tracy Hines won the bronze medal. And unfortunately, I think Sage was qualified. There she goes, waving to the crowd, blankets to the crowd. quickly give over the bibs to the men. Well, it's going to be a lucky green. Who's going to have the lucky green? Well, it's Tren Long, who has made good progress. Very physical, but Hannes Egner is probably going to be the favourite. As we've seen so far, if you're unlucky enough to have the same... Well, here we go. Oh, no, Tracy was disqualified as well. So Anna Attila takes the first position. Amelia Hilger Toger takes a second, and the Americans were disqualified. No shame on that. Temperature rising all the time. Here it's up to 50 degrees in our metal cabin. Question the sensibleness of that on a hot day. Sorry. So we've seen a great final for the women. Now it's the turn of the men. Just prepare. There's Tracy Hines has been fished out. Time for the men's final in this extreme canoe slalom, coming to you live from Ivrea in Italy. Really good crowd, thousands of people bankside to watch the brave, courageous athletes perform this top level under extreme pressure. Here we go, Christian Di Dionghi from Italy in red, Tren Long from the United States of America in green, Hannes Egner from Germany in blue, and Fredrik Wallen in yellow from Sweden. Athletes are primed, mentally tough as they come, approaching the biggest drop of the season, I believe, from the bridge. We're just halfway down the canoe slalom course. This represents the second area, which is the whitewater section. Some of the athletes, well, there's Anna, Amelia discussing their tactics, and Pedro missed out this time. Watching eagerly to see who's going to be the top athlete of the day. Crowd having a lovely afternoon. Lots of ice cream's been consumed. So end of summer afternoon. Making sure they have the right baits for the right athletes. Some athletes have their own baits and they can in their control. Others have to rely on baits given to them. All the helpers making sure they're in the right position, because it can get quite dynamic here. Here we go, there's Fredrik. Fredrik Wallen from Sweden in the yellow bib. Next, he's got his game face on. That's Tren Long for USA. Deep concentration. There's a smile. Italy is represented by Christian Di Dionghi. Enjoying every moment, so he should. Great crowd support. Hannes Egner will have images to take home. Not sure how much you'll see in the water. From Germany, clearly. Already has a victory under his belt this year. Look at his tactics, he knows what to do. Push off with the left hand. Well, they all do, to be fair. That's the view we're actually seeing. So, Italy, United States, Germany and Sweden. The finale of this amazingly spectacular weekend here in Italy. It is extreme canoe slalom, and already we do have a victim pushed off by the powerful athletes. Red, amazing turn there for Christian Di Dionghi. He's on fire. In blue it is Hannes Egner coming through. In green there is Tren Long. So great battle here. Christian Di Dionghi and Hannes Egner. Are they going to choose different options? They have chosen different options. It's really a case of which athlete's going to follow and then maybe block them in. Hannes Egner in blue has a good advantage there. He shouldn't give this away. Now, someone's been disqualified. We have to see who that's going to be, but Hannes Egner is going to come through, control the race all the way. It's really close. Oh, he just comes over the line first. Hands in the air for the victory. Tren Long was disqualified. Christian Di Dionghi is second. And we need to see what happened to Fredrik Wallen. Real power, speed merchant there. Well, they're both disqualified, which means probably went the wrong side of one of the boys. But Hands in the air, clapping away. Well done. Hannes Egner deep in preparation here. He's going to go for the Worlds. Well, that's a taste anyway of what is canoe slalom. Creek boats, all the same boats, well, pretty much the same. Going over a course. They have qualifications earlier in the weekend, and then it's a shootout where you have hopefully 4 athletes in a line. Top 2 go through to the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final. Different colour bibs, and the top 2 progress, and then your final glory goes to the top boat. There you go, really dynamic style. Do your Eskimo turn. They're almost not touching the water here. It's almost like freestyle. Great images. Just force of will and power moving through. You need to go round though. ICF TV filming all the action all the weekend. Well done to them. And powering across the line with the blue bib. Hannes Egner from Germany. With Italy taking 2nd place. So the weekend's racing is finished. Hannes Egner comes up top trumped. Christian de Jonge 2nd. Trenelong, Frederick Wallen disqualified in the finals, but they made it to the finals. That is going to be the end of the action here. A lot of fun. Qualifiers for the World Cup was on Friday, and the final results, as we see for the women. Well, a couple of the non-starters here, so ignore, apart from the top 2, Anna Cecilia Emilia Hilge Toga were the winners today. And for the men, I hope you have the confirmation of the result. It's Hannes Egner and Christian de Jonge are the winners for the men. So great, exciting competition. You can see the scope of it. Ideally, you have 4 people in the heats. So that is Extreme Canoe Slalom. Came to you live from Ivrea in the northwest of Italy, a few kilometres, 60 kilometres north of Turin. Water fed down from the Mont Blanc, so clearly the Alps. Coming through this historical, stunning area. Lots of lakes. Used to be prehistoric times. Used to be a few lakes here. Now it's just lakes with the fortunate in life having their holiday homes here. And this great channel which has stood the test of time. Thanks so much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next event, which is going to be Serra da Gel, which is the Barcelona 1992 Olympic course. Have fun, enjoy, and see you soon.